Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Peace Talks. This is a series where we catch up with the bands and artists that are coming to play for us at the Mars Bar in Worcester. We've got quite a special show coming up next week. This is on Thursday, the 22nd of May, because we're going to be celebrating 3 years of music spoken here at the Mars Bar. And this is also our 50th show, so a double celebration. Fantastic. And we're going to be joined for that celebration by Karim Saber and his quintet. So thanks for joining us today, Karim, for a chat.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again. So yeah, I think the last time we actually met in person, or first and last time we met in person was at Cherry Reds. You played a gig there in Birmingham summer last year, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, that was last August. That was
Yeah.
was the closest thing my band's done to a tour so far, because we played at East Side in Leytonstone in London the night before.
Oh, there you go. It's a two-day tour. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Start somewhere.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm blown away by that gig. It was a fantastic gig. We had the album. There we go. We got the album there as well.
Nice.
Transmission. Um, and yeah, I think we made the booking pretty much shortly after that gig. So
Yeah, very, very soon after. That was a very nice surprise.
I'm always lurking in audiences around Birmingham and the West Midlands, sort of seeing what's going on, and further afield, as you've probably seen. But yeah, so really excited. It's fantastic new music that you've got there.
Thank you.
So let's talk a bit about kind of yourself and your sort of introduction to music, how you started, where it all started for you.
Mm. So, yeah, I'm a guitar player, and like lots of other guitar players, I was interested in rock music first from a very young age. The first band I really liked was System of a Down.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, which is and then stuff like Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was my diet for the early part of my teens, and I really got into playing music at the Roundhouse in Camden.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Had a really nice Saturday morning, kind of almost a music program, but not really. It
Hmm.
was like you'd sign up for a term and go and use the facilities, and they had tutors who were really good musicians there, but they weren't giving so much schooling really. It was just they were more there to step in if you ran into obstacles
Okay,
musically or
right.
interpersonally, which happens a lot
No
in
fights on stage.
bands. Yeah, well, not fights on stage. It's more like who's gonna play bass, you know.
Ah, okay.
um, and then yeah, I did that for a few years, and after finishing sixth form, I kind of um, felt like I wanted a change from music, and was thinking about studying, and where do you go after this? And I got into jazz music. I had a really good philosophy teacher at school who knew that I was into playing music, and was like, oh, maybe you should try some of this. Maybe
Okay.
just listen and tell me what you think. And he gave me a few CDs, and that kind of got me hooked. And I took some really, really good lessons with an amazing guitar player called Carl Orr.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
You've heard of Carl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He doesn't live in London anymore, but he was really, really very, very impactful for me early on, because I was just into rock music and could play the guitar very fast, but not really do anything
Right,
else.
okay, yeah.
Into the first lesson, and he was like, "Okay, how about we try learning a song?" um, and yeah, I took about a year worth of lessons with him after sixth form. I took a gap year and just spent that time getting a lot of very foundational jazz stuff
Yeah.
together and doing a lot more listening, and that's how I got into it and came to be playing jazz.
Yeah. So who are some of the artists that you kind of listened to start with that got you hooked?
The first one was I got a copy of My Favorite Things by Coltrane,
Right.
which was still one of my favorites. I got Sketches of Spain by
Fantastic.
Miles
Yeah.
Davis, yeah, and Juju by Wayne Shorter.
Hmm.
So very, very good, solid introduction. um, and I still love and listen to all of those records all the time. But yeah, it was recently, and since then, my taste has developed a bit more to, more contemporary stuff from the 90s and early
Mm.
2000s that feels a bit, um, that incorporates different stuff from like rock music and my my early musical background. So
Yeah.
that's more what I listen to now. But yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's what's kind of I've found interesting with it's jazz is a journey that's been going for 200 years, 400 years, and it's like you've got influences along the way, and it changes and absorbs other sort of cultural changes and stuff as it moves around the planet and moves around time and such. So it's just really exciting music to sort of play around with and see what
yeah,
comes out with it. With each generation, sort of discovering it historically and then sort of translating it and transferring it to their own kind of interpretation of the world today.
absolutely. Yeah, it feels very wide open in terms of what you can do, and that's
Mm.
that's what really attracted me to jazz. Um, as someone who started playing it kind of quite late into learning the guitar, because I've been playing guitar for about 10 or so years
Yeah,
before I started playing jazz. But to me, it just seemed like the most open, the most free, the most diverse, the most challenging. All of that draws me to it, I think. And
mm.
the idea that you don't have to be tied to a band artistically, that you're
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what you do is, you know, um, cultivate your musicianship, and then the aim is to take that into any different setting and have your sound and to be able to leave your mark on it. That's what I like
Yeah,
about it too.
yeah, yeah. That's very apparent, and there's you see it all the time, certainly in the sort of the Birmingham scene, and also sort of bands that I've had on where we've had bands coming up from London, where you get the musicians will be in two or three different lineups,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
different, playing very different, but like you say, putting their own mark on what's going on.
yeah, yeah. There's so many great musicians from Birmingham, especially guitar players.
Mm,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
like loads and loads of really, really sick guitar players from Birmingham. It's great.
So yeah, because you mentioned that like the kind of players that got you hooked in the first place, sort of horn players. Would you say there's a guitarist or any guitarists along the way that have really stood out as um, from the jazz world?
Yeah, there's loads of famous people,
Hmm.
people who are really well known. The massive one for me, and I think for basically everyone of my generation, was Kurt Rosenwinkel.
Okay, yeah.
That was the one that Carl introduced me to when I was taking lessons with him, and the album Our Secret World with the OJM,
Hmm.
that Portuguese big band, and just hearing that and how melodic and fluid his playing was, and the sound he'd play with, that kind of really singing, beautiful, distorted sounds, like a distorted guitar sound that doesn't sound like rock music.
Right.
Just beautiful. Um, and Pat Metheny was a
Hmm.
big one, Bright Size Life, and the
Yeah.
trio record. question and answer. Yeah, those were massive early influences. And then I love, obviously, Kurt and Pat are still, you know, as good as it gets and as contemporary as it gets. But even newer people, like there's a guitar player from Amsterdam called Rainier Bass.
Okay, yeah, not heard of them.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible, and just such a huge output, and someone who really has his own thing.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I love Antlaw from the
Yeah.
UK. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Ant is one of the absolute best guitar players in the world, and I've listened to all of his music a lot, especially the album Life I Know. That
Mhm.
was a big one for me. Um, yeah,
Yes, he has some nice words to say about yourself as well in the promo stuff that you sent over. Yeah,
yeah, I'm lucky. I paid him very well to say all that.
I'm sure that's not the case.
No, yeah, yeah, but he's been very supportive and encouraging of me since I met him like 6 or 7 years ago. Um, I think he's great, and I'm inspired a lot by the people I'd consider to be my contemporaries in London and other places around the UK. I think there's so many great players who are my friends, and yeah,
Mm,
wonderful.
excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, let's go on to your album then, Transmission, that came out in last year, wasn't it? 2024 on Ubuntu.
Yeah, it came out at the beginning of 2024 in January, I think. Um, yeah, it was really nice to get that out there because my band had been playing that music for quite a long time, and
Mm,
it had been a long time coming. So in the last year that I was at the Royal Academy, I had a residency at a place called a Map Cafe in Kentish Town
okay.
in North London, and uh, we'd play there twice a month, my band, and
Nice. Yeah.
we get different horn players to come each time, and sometimes play a set of their tunes and a set of my tunes. And it was great to have kind of regular live performance stuff where we could play the music with not that much pressure and
Hmm.
make kind of little changes to the tunes each time. Um, and yeah, just really play the stuff and get very comfortable with it. And then, so when we started doing that, the band was a quartet.
Hmm.
Matt came and did Matt, who plays saxophone,
Yeah.
came and did one of the gigs a few months in, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy's so good. He plays my music so well. So we've been a quintet since then, and we recorded the album in early 2023.
Right. Okay.
So it was quite a quick turnaround from recording to releasing. So yeah, I wanted to get it out there.
Excellent. And is there any sort of process you go through when you because I think it's all the whole thing was it's all your own music there, isn't it? It's all original music there.
Yeah.
What is there kind of like an approach you take to writing, or does it differ, or?
I think it's different song to song. When I'm writing, I usually uh, play a lot on the piano, and I'll just improvise, playing chords and then trying to sing a melody on top and seeing um, where that takes me. If I get stuck, I'll go for a walk with no headphones on and just
Mhm.
try, you know, see if that unblocks anything. Writing it down and trying to find variations. So like, yeah, that's helpful. I do a lot of redrafting the songs after we play. So I'll try
Mhm.
and write something new, play it on a gig, record it, see what works, what doesn't work. Um, and I have lots of friends who are much better composers than me. So I'll send the tunes to them and see what they think of them, and you know, take their feedback on board or not take it on board. But at least I know.
Yeah,
It's different. Sometimes it can be very, very quick. Like a song will just appear fully formed, and all I
yeah,
have to do is write it down, and that's great. But other times it can be a very, very slow, frustrating process where we really have to fight for each note. But
yeah,
those are sometimes the most rewarding when they finally get done.
yeah. And do you find you're doing much in the way of sort of co-writing, collaborating with the band, or do you tend to go to them with a fairly complete idea?
Um, well, I don't write parts for them.
Mm,
So everything that we're doing on stage is a collaboration, and all of the guys in my band are so incredible at what they do, and not just technically, but everyone in my band has listened to a massive range of music.
yeah. Mm,
Um, they're all highly creative, you know, um, and they like to play a wide range of stuff.
mm,
So it's I like to let them use their judgment about what's best for the song, and then I might make some suggestions or say
mhm.
very
Yeah,
strong,
yeah.
no, please don't do that. But it can be, yeah. I suppose that some parts of the writing are collaborative, like if they have really strong ideas about what they should do, or for example, if Alex wants to, you know, change parts of the harmony,
Mhm,
or wants me to label the chords in a different way, then I'll do it. If Jack says, "Oh, I think this groove would be best,"
mhm.
I'm open for that. Yeah, I always want to hear what they have to say and what they think, because I think they're all really, really great.
Excellent. Yeah. So let's just run through the band that's coming up. Who have you got and what they do?
Um, we have Jack Thomas playing drums.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then we have John Jones playing bass, and Alex Wilson plays the piano. Not to be confused with the
The Latin,
yeah, the Latin jazz.
somewhat older Latin pianist. Yeah, it's always good to have Alex Wilson on the billing and leave that confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Although if it's fans of the other Alex Wilson, they might be disappointed when they turn up. But
Not at all. I remember going to a gig where
fingers crossed.
the other David Gilmour was on guitar. It was
Oh, really?
Royal Festival Hall. Yeah, the jazz David Gilmour.
Yeah,
But
he's amazing.
yeah, it's fascinating when that kind of happens, and it's on the same instrument as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, and Alex actually, anyone watching who was around following Music Spoken Here gigs in 2023, Alex was with Zenyel when they came up in that was the summer 2023.
Yeah.
They'll be coming back to play for us in September as well. So looking forward to that. But yeah, so
And then
that's Alex on keys, and then
Matt Cook is playing the tenor saxophone.
fantastic. Cool. So, is it your first time playing in Worcester?
Yes, first time playing in Worcester.
Fantastic.
First time going to Worcester.
First time going. Oh, there you go. I'll have to show you the sights and sounds on the well between Foregate Street and the Mars Bar. There's not really a lot happening.
Okay, well, I'm sure the gig will be fun, and hopefully I'll get to come back and look around properly another time.
A lovely city steeped in history and on the river.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pleasant place, and of course, what a wonderful venue. The venue's been going 25 years now. I think they opened the doors in 2001.
Wow.
So yes, the longest standing jam night in the UK,
Wow.
as claimed and as yet undisputed.
That's great.
So that happens every Wednesday. Yeah, no, it's a cool place. Cool place. So Yeah, so I think I saw mention of have you got some are you planning another album that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
coming out later this year maybe?
It's recorded, and yeah, I'm actually doing the final touches of the mixing and working on the album artwork right now. Uh,
Fantastic.
so that I hope will be out towards the end of the year. Um,
Cool. So we'll get to hear some of that stuff on next Thursday maybe?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if we'll play any stuff from the old album. It will definitely be
Okay.
mostly new music that's um, not being played live that much. So
Excellent.
be
Love
exciting.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Going to be a very special night, I'm sure.
Hopefully, we recorded that back in January, so I've definitely got to spend the next week and a half refreshing. The problem with writing this music is that once it's written, you have to to play it, which I forget sometimes. Write stuff that's quite hard for me, but yeah, it would be fun.
Couple of rehearsals, you'll be down. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. If I can, yeah, we will definitely do a rehearsal. That's for sure.
Good stuff. Well, really looking forward to having you come to play for our wonderful little club in Worcester, and
Me too.
safe journey out from London
Thank you.
on the trains. Hope GWR does their job well.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
Hope
cool.
we don't get held up, but we'll be there.
We'll have backup in case we'll send a bus down for you. An
Nice.
Uber.
Move all the way. I had to,
Uh,
that happened last November. I was on tour with my friend's band in Germany, and we were coming to the UK, and the German train system is, I think, even worse than in the UK.
oh, really?
Sometimes the
I always
train
thought
just stops,
European was.
and they're like, we're not taking you any further, and we had to get a cab from Germany all the way to Brussels, where we were
No
getting a
way.
Eurostar. Cab was, I think, 2.5 hours.
I don't even want to ask how much that costs.
In between countries. Yeah, I think that cab might have wiped out the income from one of our gigs. But yeah, we made it. But
We won't it won't be as dire as that, but yeah, I'm sure everything will be fine, and we'll see you at Foregate Street Station on Thursday. So yeah, it's Thursday the 22nd of May at the Mars Bar in Worcester. Do come on down for that because it's going to be a cracking, entertaining evening, and lots of partying going on as well. Because yeah, as I say, we'll be celebrating 3 years and 50 shows. Where did all that time go? And there's so much more to do as well. So great. Well,
thanks.
safe trip up, Kareem. Thanks so much for your time today, and we'll
My pleasure.
Thursday.
See you soon. Thanks, Dave. Bye.